You mentioned that Langfuse is an open source tool. Why did you specifically choose to do it? At what point of the journey did you do it? And what were the kind of things that you considered pro con in terms of also making it a commercial success? Yeah.
I think the good thing is when you start out, you always assume that whatever you do right now doesn't work. So we were just like, okay, if we were users of this, we would want this to be open source. And we want to partner with other people and integrate with them. And these packages are open source. So probably we should be open source as well. Like whatever. It's kind of like 1 week effort. Like it always starts with like a 1 week hack to launch something. So you don't attribute any value to it. And you're just like, let's put this on GitHub, and if we can get better feedback by developers on it, if it's open source, because you can just give them like the GitHub link and like the README, then let's do it. So we don't need a website, which is cool. But now it's kind of like we more iterate into this observability aspect than the platform that I mentioned earlier. And having this open source at the core, like we feel very strongly about it, where if you trace your LM application to then run evaluations on it on your whole workflow to understand what works, what your users do, there's like a strong data asset. Like you really want this then for fine-tuning in the future, for data exploration in the future. You want good APIs. You might want to self-host it if it's like, because in the end, if like people put their own, like if a user chats with it or somehow like an open-ended input field, it can be anything. It can be credit card information. It can be very sensitive. So many, at least like regulated startups or enterprises, want to self-host it, where open source just makes this easier again. And yeah, so there are like lots of advantages of being open source, and we feel like open sourcing the core aspect of what we do makes a ton of sense.